Stories come and stories go. Listen to the words and help them grow. It matters not if the stories are true, only what they mean to you. 'Cause stories come and stories flow. Listen to the words and away we go. Wow! Greetings! My name is Akbar Imhotep, and I have the pleasure of sharing a couple of stories with you today. A long time ago, when I first started at the Wren's Nest, the executive director at the time gave me a project, and that project was to find some African folk tales that were similar or parallel to the Uncle Remus stories. And I went down to I always call it the Margaret Mitchell Library. It is the Margaret Mitchell Library. In the downtown library, down to the 398.2, and the very first story that I found was this one right here. It's a little story called The Smart Turtle. Now, usually when I go to the schools and the places, I give the children the turtle test. But I'm not going to give you the turtle test because I can't hear your responses. But I do have a trick question about halfway through that I'm going to ask you. So I'm going to tell you this story that to me is a direct parallel of one of the most famous, most well-known stories in the whole wide world. And I want to add this a little bit too. When I first got into the storytelling, I met a gentleman named Hugh Keenan. And Hugh was on the Wren's Nest, not the Wren's Nest, the George Chandler Harris's Association's board, aka the Wren's Nest board. And Hugh said to me, he said, "Akbar, I know you're probably concerned about telling this Tarbaker story, but you should know that every culture has a story where a villain is captured by something sticky." So Hugh told me that, and I want you to know that I probably have about 5 stories in my repertoire of stories where a villain, Brer Rabbit, Anansi, Ijapa, are all captured by something sticky. But today's story is not so much about the stickiness, but a parallel story to a story that we all know. And the first story actually comes from Angola. Angola is a country on the western side of Africa, about halfway down. And it says, one morning, a man got up. And the man got up and he went out to see how his corn was doing. Now, trick question about corn. Does corn grow on a tree like an apple, on a vine like grapes, or under the ground like sweet potatoes? How many people say on a tree? Raise your hand. How many people say on a vine like grapes? All right. How many people say underground like sweet potatoes? Now, whether you said apple, grapes, or sweet potato, you're all wrong, because corn doesn't grow on a tree, it doesn't grow on a vine, it doesn't grow on underground. It grows in the grocery store. All right. So anyway, he goes out to his corn, and the stalks are all broken down and destroyed. He looks in the midst of the broken stalks, and he sees a turtle. He picks up that turtle and brings it back to the village. And when he gets back, he calls everybody out. Hey! 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 He calls everybody out. And everybody gets around. What's the matter? What's the matter? What's the matter? He said, this turtle has destroyed our corn. How shall we punish him? Somebody said, cut him up, put him in a pot, make a stew out of it. The turtle said, yes, I'll make a tasty stew, but please don't throw me in the river. I said, wait a minute. You're not afraid of being put in a pot made in a stew? Is there something else we could do? Somebody over there said, "Hey, get a rope and tie him to a tree." The turtle said, "Yes, yes, yes. Tell me so tight I can't get away. But please, 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 don't throw me in the river." I said, "Wait, he's not afraid of being tied to no tree. Is there something else we can do?" Somebody way, way, way back in the back said, "You remember me? Let's dig a hole, put him in the ground." The turtle said, "Yes, yes, yes. Bury me so deep I can't get away. But please, 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 don't throw me in the river." Oh, wait a minute. He's not afraid of being cooked. He's not afraid of being tied up. He's not afraid of being buried. The only thing he's afraid of is the river. Shall we take him to the river? All right. So what the people did. They got the turtle. They took him to the riverbank. And when they got there, somebody got him in the front. Somebody got him in the back. And they gave him a great big old swing. And then they just swung him. Woo! Splash! When the water splashed and splattered and swirled and twirled. And after a while, the turtle came up to the top. And when he did, he had a great big smile on his face. You know what? You want to know what he said to the people who threw him in the river? And to me, this might be the most misconnected part. He said, "Thank you. Then you know I was born and bred in the riverbed." And that old turtle swam away and was never seen in that village again. He did. Now, that's a little story called The Smart Turtle from Angola. What I want to do now is tell you a little story that probably Bob, right here in the American South, was written down in a book called The Complete Tales of Uncle Remus by a gentleman named George Harris, whom we all know. And it goes like this. And this won't be the whole thing, but just kind of a chunk of it. Like if you got a watermelon and bust it open, and then you just got the heart of that watermelon. This is what I want to do for you with this story. But it starts with Brer Fox and Brer Bear. Brer Fox and Brer Bear sitting around. They were talking about all the things old Rabbit had done to them that made them upset. Brer Fox said, "Brer Bear, you know I'm about plain sick and tired of that rabbit. You go around here bothering everybody. I'm sick of it. And when I get my paws on it, I'm going to wrap them around his throat. And I'm going to squeeze all the breath out." And Bear said, "Brer Fox, when you get through your death, give me the meat so I can knock your head off. Come on, let's go get it now." Fox said, "No, you wait here till I get back." And what Fox did, he went down in the woods. He took his bucket with him, and he got him a bucket of that sticky, icky, yucky, mucky, ooey, gooey tar. And he come back and said, "Brer Bear, this gonna get it." Bear said, "What you gonna do with that there? Oh, you just wait." So what old Brer Fox did with his clever self, he got some turpentine, poured that over in it, put some of that turpentine on his hand. Then he got him a stick, and he stirred that tar up. And after he got it good and stirred up, he started playing with it, like if he got a great big old lump of clay. First, he shaped up a head. Then he made up some chests and shoulders and a little body part right here. He stuck on some arms and some legs. And when he got through with it, it looked just like a little bitty person, or some folks say a little bitty baby. And you know what he called it? How many people say baby tar? How many say tar baby? That's what he called it. Now, if he got this old tar baby thing shaped up, he said, Brer Bear, I probably ought to dress it up a little bit. Yeah, won't you do that, Brer Fox? And so what he did now was he took off Brother Bear's cap, a hat, put that on the turban, took his jacket off, wrapped that around him, gave it some buttons for eyes that he got off of Brother Bear's vest, picked up old corn cob, stuck that on it for a nose, and then just drew on and painted on a little old mouth. And so what he did now was he got that turban thing, and he and Brother Bear took it out to the big road. They set it right up there on the side of the road. Then he and Brother Bear went into the bushes to hide. Now, what I want you to know, and I want you to see this with me now, right over there, right over here, on the right corner of the imagination, was a thing called the briar patch. Now, I know I'm probably talking to a whole lot of city children today, and I don't know how many of you actually haven't been in a briar patch, but how many ever been in some sticker briars? How many of you know what thorns and thistles are? Now, what I want you to do is not just imagine one little old plant of sticker briar, but probably 1,000 million of them right over there on the corner of the imagination. So let's look what we got. Who's sitting up here on the side of the road? Say turban. Who's hiding in the bushes? You say Brother Fox and Brother Bear. And what's over there on the right corner of the imagination? And is it just one little thistle bush? Is it 4 or 5? Or is it a whole heap of them? Aha! So let's see what we got. Fox and Bear hide. Brer Rabbit, he comes down the road. This is happy and fast as he can be. When he come along, he sees that turban. And being neighborly like he was, he tried to associate. He said, "How you doing?" And what the tar baby said. He said, "Howdy do?" What did he say that time? Brer Rabbit said, "Look, round here in these parts, we speak to one another. Howdy!" But what did the tar baby say? Nothing. The rabbit gets kind of upset. Now, between me and you, we probably just go on. But Brer Rabbit, he want the tar baby to say something. He said, "Look, if you don't take that hat off and tell me howdy, by the time I count 3, I'm going to flip you." But guess what? The tar baby don't say that. He said, "Look, 1, 2, 2.5, 3." He hit the tar baby. And you know what happened? His fist got stuck. He said, let go before I hit you with this one, and flip. That one got stuck. He said, let go before I kick the natural stuffing out of you, and flip. His feet got stuck. He said, hey, let go right now before I butt you with my head, and flip. His head got stuck. A rabbit, he was stuck completely to the top. Brer Fox and Brer Bear, they ease up behind him. And old Brer Fox said, "Morning, Brer Rabbit. Don't you look kind of stuck up this morning?" Well, they laughed and carried on. And old Rabbit, he said, "Brer Fox, I don't care what you do to me. Just don't throw me in that briar patch over there." You know what I'm going to do to you, Brer Rabbit? I'm going to drown you. He said, "Go ahead, Brer Fox. Drown me deep as you please. But please, don't throw me in that briar patch." Oh, drowning you be too nice a thing to do. I'm going to get me a rope and hang ya. Rabbit said, "Hang me, Brer Fox. Hang me high as you please. But please, don't throw me in the briar patch." Brer Bear said, "Well, where you gonna go through all that? Then let me know you, that'd be the end of it. Cause I want to make this rabbit suck." Rabbit, I'm gonna get my knife and I'm gonna skin ya. Rabbit said, "Skin me, Brer Fox. pull my ears out by the root, cut my legs off, but please, 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 don't throw me in the briar patch. Well, guess what? After Rabbit went on and on about not throwing him in the briar patch, Brer Fox figured the worst thing he could do would be to fling that rabbit exactly where he didn't want to go. Now, what you think about that? Was that a good idea or a bad idea? Now, where I come from, they said probably depend on which side of the river you live on. So, what Fox did was he got the rabbit by its hind leg and he gave him a great big old swing and then he swung him way over into the briar patch. And when Rabbit hit them briars, he went, ow, ooh, ow, 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 ow. Rabbit did so much screaming and hollering that Brer Fox and Brer Bear thought he was just about dead. And they commit celebrate, but they couldn't celebrate long. After a while, way up on the hill, out popped old Rabbit. And when Rabbit come up out the bushes, he had a little broke off piece of one of them that he was using to comb the rest of the tar out of his hair. And he looked down and he saw Brer Fox and Brer Bear shaking their fists and stopping and carrying on. And do you want to know what Brer Rabbit said to Brer Fox and Brer Bear? He said, Brer Fox, didn't I tell you not to throw me in the briar patch? I was bred and born in the briar patch. Didn't you know I was bred and born in the briar patch? And that old rabbit skipped off to live almost happily ever after. And sometimes my children will ask me, why you say almost happily ever after? And I say, young folk, old rabbit, he had a lot of good days. He had situations that he could always get himself out of. But some days it was raining, or maybe it was cold, or maybe he just had a bad day. So that's why I say he lived almost happily ever after. Now, in the beginning, when we started this little program, I was doing my story chant. And for about 35 years or so, I've ended my program with my story chant. And so I'm going to do the same thing today. I'd like you to repeat after me. Stories come and stories go. Listen to the words and help them grow. It matters not what they mean to me, only what your hearts can see. Stories come and stories flow. Listen to the words and away we go. Have yourself a great day, and I'll see you later.